into that parallel health system.
Police by Royal Castle. Did I say something like that?
Yeah. Good afternoon, Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Ministers, colleagues, members of the media, Trinidad and Tobago. I've been asked to provide an update and some information on the status of the parallel healthcare system. And today I will be providing some details on the hospital system, which really would be